we can go out there, we can make life multiplanetary, understand the universe, find out what's going on. Maybe the aliens will come visit us. Maybe they are here right now. I don't know. So, alien registration card. People do ask me, like, do I think aliens are among us? I'm like, I haven't seen any. Yeah, there's illegal aliens, but there's a lot of those. But I haven't seen any like sort of green aliens with antennas on the head or anything like that. Maybe they are. They're just very subtle, but I haven't seen them. So, but I think we want to be the aliens exploring other galaxies.
When you say what are the aliens, what do you mean?
Where are the aliens? Oh. Like, why don't we see them? A lot of people think we see aliens, but I've not seen any evidence of aliens. We've got 6,000 satellites in orbit, and not once have we had to maneuver around an alien spacecraft.
Right. But on this Earth, the U.S. military has had to do a lot of maneuvering around objects they can't explain.
Well, unidentified flying objects is one thing, but there's always a bunch of classified programs that are underway of new aircraft and new missiles and things. So that are classified even within the military. So it's only if you have the top secret compartmented clearance would you know about this new program. So then some pilot sees something moving fast and says, "Hey, I saw a UFO." I'm like, "Yeah, that was actually a new weapons program, but we can't tell you that." If you can guarantee that the split second I see any evidence of aliens, I will immediately post that on the X platform. And it'll probably be our #1 post of all time.
That'll be your biggest day,
yes.
For sure.
I wonder, Ross, Elon Musk, I want you to react to him real quick. He was speaking earlier this week, the Milken Institute, big event, and I want to get your thoughts on the other side.
I've not seen any evidence of aliens, and SpaceX with the Starlink constellation has roughly 6,000 satellites, and not once have we had to maneuver around a UFO.
What would you say?
Okay, there was a delicious scandal in England in the 1950s, Blake, when a young woman was accused of having an affair with a British politician, and he categorically denied it. And Mandy Rice Davis said, well, he would say that, wouldn't he? And let's be honest about it, if Elon Musk had been briefed into a UFO crash retrieval program, and if he had been told by the Defense Department that his SpaceX contract was dependent on keeping it secret, I'm sure he would keep it secret. I am told, in fact, I've been told, not necessarily officially, but I've been told by people who are aware of what Elon Musk and SpaceX are up to, that he has been read into parts of the program. But at the moment, he's taking the position he's taking. Let's see how long that lasts for.
I've not seen any evidence of aliens, and SpaceX with the Starlink constellation has roughly 6,000 satellites, and not once have we had to maneuver around a UFO. Okay, so we were like, hey, what's that? Is that an alien? Has occurred never. So I'm like, okay, I don't see any evidence of aliens, and I look at it. If somebody has evidence of aliens in a that's not just a fuzzy blob, then I'd love to see it, love to hear about it, but I don't think there is. So, which is actually reason for concern, because you could. If any civilization in the Milky Way, in our galaxy, were to last for 1 million years, even with a speed of travel that's far below the speed of light, like a few percent of speed of light, they could easily have explored and colonized the whole galaxy. So they haven't. So why not? I think the answer might be, or perhaps probably is, that civilization is precarious and rare, and that you should really think of human civilization as being like a tiny candle in a vast darkness, and we should do everything possible to ensure that that candle does not go out.
Good afternoon, Elon. As somebody who is directly involved in the pioneering of space travel, what is your perspective on the suppression of advanced technologies under UAP crash retrieval programs and other black projects such as Immaculate Constellation that have the potential to fundamentally change human society?
I'm not familiar with those programs, but I certainly think if there are technologies that can be helpful, the government's aware of it. We should obviously provide that technology to the people. So I should say that people often ask me, do I believe in aliens? I said, well, I was one, according to Homeland Security, until I got my, it literally said alien registration card. I'm like, cool. But thus far, I have not personally, I'm not aware of any evidence for aliens on Earth. I'm not saying they're not here, but I have not seen any evidence for aliens. And for our Starlink constellation, we have never had to maneuver around an alien spacecraft even once. And we've got 6,000 satellites up there. So, I mean, they're very subtle, is what I'm saying, these aliens, you know. But I think if there's, like, I don't know, if there's interesting stuff that's, that the government's aware of that American people would find interesting or useful, we should obviously make that known. We should publish it. You know, people do ask me, you know, have I seen UFOs and aliens and that kind of thing? And I haven't. And I think I would have seen them by now. So it appears that we might be the only consciousness, at least in this galaxy. And if so, that's kind of a scary prospect, because it means that the light of consciousness is like a tiny candle in a vast darkness. And we should do everything we can to prevent that candle from going out. So, yeah. And so some of the things, so that means obviously taking the actions to ensure that Earth is good, that Earth is safe and secure for civilization. And I think it also means extending life beyond Earth to other planets in the solar system and ultimately to other star systems. And I think that's both a sort of defense of the light of consciousness and also, I think, a point of inspiration, because life cannot just be about solving one problem after another. We need things that inspire us. I mean, we need things that move our heart. And that when you wake up in the morning, you're excited to be alive. And being a spacefaring civilization and making true the things that we see in the good science fiction movies, this is one of the things that I think can inspire all of humanity. Just like when the astronauts went to the moon in '69, it was something that, I mean, they said for all mankind, and it really was something. You say to any human on Earth, what's like the most amazing thing that humanity has ever done? At least one of those things would be.
Okay, so get this right. Elon Musk says he hasn't seen any evidence of aliens.
With all those SpaceX satellites, right?
Exactly. All those satellites beaming down data. But some people are saying, well, hold on a sec. Is he telling us everything? Today, we're going to take a deep dive into some specific claims that are out there about Musk, about SpaceX, and about possible government secrets. Now, what we're not going to do is debate if aliens exist.
Right.
We're not doing that.
Not this time.
Instead, we're going to actually look at what Musk has said publicly himself.
Okay.
And then what others have claimed about his, what he knows or doesn't know.
Yeah.
We've got some excerpts actually from 3 of his public appearances where this whole alien UFO thing comes up.
Interesting.
And you might be surprised by, how much his statements actually seem to contradict each other.
Yeah, that's what makes this so interesting. So let's start with his denials. Because he has said many times, like in no uncertain terms, that he has seen zero, zip, zilch, nada evidence of aliens.
Right. And he's even joked about, subtle aliens. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
Which, makes you think, is he serious or is he just messing with us?
Yeah, is he just having a little fun?
A little bit.
But here's the thing, right? Even if we, take his denials just totally at face value, his position as the head of SpaceX,
right,
a company that's very much involved in government contracts, space exploration.
Big clue.
It adds a whole other layer to this. Just think about it, right? What would the implications be if he actually came out and said, yes, aliens are real, folks?
Okay, yeah, that's a really good point. You're saying even if he did know something,
yeah,
there could be enormous pressure to keep quiet.
Exactly. And this is where this investigative journalist Ross Coulthart comes in. He spent years and years and years looking into UFOs, and he directly challenges Musk's claims. He even compares it to, that famous British political scandal back in the 60s with the government minister and the call girl.
Wait, hold on. How does that connect to Elon Musk and aliens?
Okay, so during that scandal, one of the key figures, her name was Mandy Rice Davies. She famously said this.
Right.
Well, he would say that, wouldn't he?
Oh, right.
Basically meaning someone in power is always going to deny any wrongdoing no matter what.
Protect themselves.
Right, exactly. So Coulthart's argument is that Musk might be in that same kind of situation.
Interesting.
Where admitting he knows about aliens that would have huge consequences, especially with all the government contracts and stuff.
Okay, so you're saying we can't just take Musk's denials, at face value.
Right.
He could be forced to deny things, even if they are true.
Exactly, yeah. That's the takeaway here. And Coulthard doesn't stop there. He actually claims that he has sources.
Okay.
These sources allege that Musk has been briefed on secret government programs
About?
about retrieving crashed UFOs.
Oh, wow. Okay, now that's a bombshell. But we got to be careful here.
Yeah.
This is based on Coulthard's sources,
Right.
which we can't verify.
Absolutely. It's so important to remember what's a claim and what's actually, a confirmed fact. But it does kind of make you wonder, right?
Yeah.
Who do you find more credible, Musk, Coulthard, and why?
It's tough, right? You've got these strong denials from Musk,
Uh-huh.
and then you got these pretty wild counterclaims from Coulthard. It's like, what do you do with that? But hold on, because then we've got excerpts from 2 other Musk speeches,
Oh,
and things get even more complicated.
even more.
Yeah, because this is where his tone kind of shifts a little bit.
Oh, really?
He starts suggesting that maybe, just maybe, there might be some interesting stuff the government's hiding. But he never says exactly what that stuff is.
That is interesting. Almost like he's trying to tiptoe around something,
Right.
dropping little hints, but not actually confirming anything.
Yeah, what do you make of that?
Well, it definitely makes you wonder if he's being deliberately vague. Maybe he's trying to, kind of nudge the government into disclosing more information without breaking any confidentiality agreements he might have.
Okay, so maybe he's playing a very subtle game here. And this is where things get really interesting, because in these same speeches, he uses this specific metaphor over and over again.
Oh.
He talks about human civilization being like a tiny candle in the vast darkness of the universe.
Wow, yeah. I mean, that's more than just a poetic image, right? I mean,
Right.
that suggests a deep awareness of just how fragile human existence really is, especially when you consider, the vastness and all the unknowns of the universe.
He specifically links this idea of the fragile candle to the potential for alien life. He says, we might not be the only ones out there.
Right, right.
And that other civilizations, they might not have been so lucky.
Which brings us back to, his whole driving motivation behind SpaceX. Remember, it's not just about space exploration for him. It's not just about scientific advancement.
Right.
He has emphasized repeatedly the need for humanity to become a multiplanetary species.
So are you suggesting that his interest in aliens is tied to this bigger goal
Possibly.
of colonizing Mars?
It's a possibility. I mean, think about it.
Maybe he sees finding alien life as part of, ensuring humanity's long-term survival.
If you believe that other civilizations might have faced, existential threats, maybe even from other alien species, it makes sense to, spread humanity out.
Hedge our bets.
Exactly. Hedge our bets against a similar fate.
Okay, that's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. It's not just about escaping a dying Earth. It's about ensuring that humanity doesn't get wiped out entirely
Right.
by some unknown cosmic force.
Exactly. And if Musk, if he does have knowledge of some advanced alien technology,
Yeah, right.
whether it's through government briefings or some other means, well, it could explain why he's in such a hurry to get SpaceX up and running.
So we've got these seemingly disconnected pieces, right? You've got Musk's denials, you've got Coulthard's claims, you've got the tiny candle metaphor, and then you've got SpaceX's mission to colonize Mars. But if you connect the dots,
Yeah.
a more complex picture starts to emerge.
And it raises some pretty big questions, right? Like, what does Musk actually know? Why is he being so cryptic about it? Is he bound by some kind of secrecy agreement?
Right.
Or is he intentionally just trying to, stir the pot, get people talking?
And how does all of this affect how we view space exploration, how we view humanity's place in the universe?
Right.
Do you think it's even possible that Musk is racing against time
Oh, wow.
to find other intelligent life before it's too late?
It's all speculation at this point, of course. But that's what makes it so intriguing, right? We have these little snippets of information, these hints and contradictions, and it's up to us to interpret them, to draw our own conclusions.
Yeah, it's like we're putting together a puzzle, but we're missing some key pieces.
Yeah.
But even with the pieces we do have, it's clear there's more to this story than meets the eye.
Absolutely. And it all comes back to the question of belief.
Right.
Do you believe Musk's denials? Do you believe Coulthard's sources? Ultimately, it comes down to what you find the most convincing.
Right. And even if we don't have definitive proof of aliens or secret government programs, the very possibility.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront some pretty fundamental questions about our existence,
Yeah.
about our place in the cosmos.
Exactly. It challenges us to, expand our thinking.
Yeah.
Consider perspectives that might seem outlandish at first, and just remain open to the possibility that we might not be alone in the universe.
So let's pause here for a sec and bring this back to you, the listener. What are your thoughts on all this? Do you think Musk knows more than he's letting on? Do you find Coulthard's claims credible? And maybe most importantly, how's this deep dive affected your perspective on the possibility of alien life and the future of humanity? Okay, so we've got Musk, right?
Yeah.
Possibly hinting at these government secrets, and then this whole idea that he sees humanity as like a tiny candle in the vast darkness. Where does that metaphor, where does that take us?
Well, I think that metaphor is more than just a poetic image. It suggests, a deep awareness of how fragile human existence really is, especially, when you think about just how vast and unknown the universe is.
Right, and he specifically links this whole idea of the fragile candle to the potential for alien life. He says, we might not be the only ones out there, and that other civilizations, they may not have been so lucky.
Yeah, and this brings us back to his whole driving motivation behind SpaceX. Remember, it's not just about space exploration for this guy. It's not just about, scientific advancement.
Right.
He has said over and over again, we need to become a multiplanetary species.
So are you saying that his interest in aliens is, tied to this bigger goal?
It's definitely possible.
Of colonizing Mars?
Yeah, think about it.
Maybe he sees finding alien life as a way to, ensure humanity's long-term survival.
If you believe that other civilizations might have faced, existential threats,
right?
Maybe even threats from other alien species.
Yeah.
Well, then it would make sense to, spread humanity out, sort of hedge our bets against a similar fate.
Right, hedge our bets.
Exactly.
Okay, that's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. It's not just about escaping a dying Earth. It's about making sure that humanity doesn't get wiped out, period.
Right.
By some, unknown thing out there.
Exactly. And if Musk, if he does have knowledge of some advanced alien tech, whether it's through government briefings or whatever,
right?
That could explain why he's in such a hurry to get SpaceX, up and running.
So we have these seemingly disconnected pieces, right?
Yeah.
Musk's denials, Coulthard's claims, the tiny candle metaphor, and SpaceX's mission to get to Mars. But when you start connecting the dots, a more complex picture kind of starts to emerge.
It does, and then it raises these huge questions like, what does Musk actually know? Why is he being so cryptic about it? Is he bound by some kind of secrecy agreement?
Right.
Or is he trying to is he intentionally trying to stir things up?
Yeah, and how does all this affect the way we view space exploration in general?
Right.
The way we view humanity's place in the universe. Do you think it's possible that that he's racing against time? Wow. To find other intelligent life?
Yeah.
Before it's too late?
It's all speculation at this point, obviously, but that's what makes it so interesting, right? We just have these little snippets of information, these hints, these contradictions.
Yeah.
And it's really up to us to figure out what we think, to draw our own conclusions.
It's like we're putting together this puzzle, but we're missing a few pieces.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But even with the pieces we do have, it's pretty clear there's something more to this story.
For sure. And it all comes back to that question of belief,
Yeah.
Do you believe what Musk is saying? Do you believe Coulthard and his sources? In the end, I think it just comes down to what you find the most convincing.
Right. And even if we don't have definitive proof that aliens exist or that there are these secret government programs, just the possibility itself.
Yeah.
It forces us to ask these big questions about our existence.
Yeah.
About where we fit in the universe.
Absolutely. It challenges us to really think outside the box, to consider perspectives that maybe seem strange at first and just be open to the idea that we might not be alone out there.
So let's pause here and bring this back to you, the listener. What are your thoughts on all this? Do you think Musk knows more than he's saying? Do you think Coulthard's claims are credible?
Mm-hmm.
And how has this deep dive affected your perspective on, alien life and the future of humanity? It's crazy how far we've come. We started talking about Elon Musk saying he hasn't seen evidence, and now we're talking about the fate of humanity, right? The whole possibility of other intelligent life out there.
It's amazing, right? How you start with one topic and it just spirals out where you end up asking these huge questions. I think that's really the point of a deep dive like this, you know? It's not just the information, it's how it makes you think.
Yeah, for sure. And it shows you how even the most like out there ideas, you know, aliens, government cover-ups, all that, it can lead to these really deep conversations about who we are, you know, and where we fit in the grand scheme of things.
Right, and we've seen how those denials from Musk might be a lot more complex than they sound at first, especially given, you know, his position, all the pressures he's probably facing, and Coulthard's claims, well, whether you believe him or not, they definitely add to the mystery.
And then there's the whole tiny candle metaphor, which for me, that's what makes all this so fascinating.
Yeah.
Like it speaks to this sense of wonder, but also this awareness of how vulnerable we really are.
Yeah, it suggests that even with all our technology, all our advances, you know, we're still just this little flicker of light in this huge dark space. And who knows, right? If there are other civilizations out there, what have they gone through? What might they know?
So where does that leave us? I mean, we don't have any like hard and fast answers, but we've looked at some pretty compelling possibilities.
Right, we've gone through those statements, allegations, all of it. And in the end, it really comes down to what you believe. What do you think?
Do you think Musk is holding back? Do you think there's something to those claims about the government hiding stuff? Or maybe we're all reading too much into it. Who knows?
Whatever your conclusion is, I hope this deep dive has, you know, made you question some things, maybe even sparked your curiosity a little bit. Because what we've learned is that the truth, it's always more complicated than it seems at first, you know?
And even if we never find, like, you know, actual proof that aliens exist, just the act of asking these questions, considering all the possibilities, I think that's pretty valuable.
I agree. It reminds us that there's so much out there we don't know about the universe, about our place in it. And maybe, just maybe, that's a good thing.
So keep asking those questions, keep exploring, and definitely keep an open mind. Because, hey, you know, the truth might be out there, or maybe it's closer than we think. Either way, it's the journey that matters.
And who knows, maybe one day we'll look back at this conversation and laugh about how little we knew. But until then, the mystery continues.